Hello friends, welcome to the fantastic world of stories and why we tell them from Culture Katha. Friends, today's video is going to be slightly different. Today we are going to visit a temple, not just any temple, but an ancient and a very important Hindu temple built during the times of the Guptas. Yes, you heard right, the Guptas, the Gupta era. Remember reading in our school history books about the Gupta rulers and how the period of their reign was referred to as India's golden age. If you remember that, one look at this temple will tell you why the Gupta period totally deserved that credit. To get to this temple, we have to travel to Jhansi in Uttar Pradesh and drive down to a nearby town called Lalitpur. Our temple is located in the midst of a reserved forest area, just about 30 kilometers away from Lalitpur. Devgarh is also known as Sagar Marg locally. The temple here is called the Dashavatara temple, and that is our first glimpse of the temple tower. So why am I so excited about being here? Here are three reasons why this temple is very special. Firstly, this temple, built over about 1500 years ago, happens to be among the first such structural temple complexes built for Hindu deities in the Indian subcontinent. We do not know if there existed something older, but what we do know is that the Dashavatara temple is the oldest surviving Hindu temple complex we have today. Now, what do I mean by the oldest surviving Hindu temple complex? It's a lot of words. Well, there are several standalone temples that are older than this Dashavatara temple at Devgarh, like the one at Sanchi, located close to the Sanchi Stupa. Referred to as Sanchi temple number 17, this temple is dated to the late 4th or early 5th century of the Common Era and is older than our Devgarh temple. But Sanchi temple number 17 comprises a single shrine that was most likely used by Buddhists. So it was neither a Hindu temple nor a temple complex like the Devgarh temple. Secondly, the Dashavatara temple represents the earliest experiments with temple spires or shikaras or vimanas as we call them in India. Temples did not always have spires. In fact, the one we just saw, Sanchi temple number 17, did not have a shikara. Shikaras were a later invention. Also, not all shikaras were made of stone. There's another surviving Gupta era temple at Bhitargaon near Kanpur, but it has a shikara made of bricks. But our Dashavatara temple is the oldest surviving temple in North India to have a shikara made of stones. Thirdly, the Dashavatara temple is the oldest surviving temple built in the Panchayatana style of temple architecture. Now, what is Panchayatana style? Pancha, as you can guess, means 5 and Ayatana means a dwelling place. So, this is a temple built with 5 shrines for 5 different deities. In the Panchayatana style of temple architecture, there is a central shrine for the chief deity and 4 surrounding shrines for different deities. Today, in the Dashavatara temple, the surrounding smaller shrines are missing, but the main shrine of course remains, although the image of the deity in the central shrine is also missing. Even though the deity in the main shrine is missing, we do know that this temple was dedicated to Vishnu. And how do we know that? By the image of Vishnu sitting on the Sheshnag, which has been carved out on the lintel of the main shrine's doorway. So, the image of the lintel, or Lalata Bimba as it's called in Sanskrit, is typically the clue to identifying the deity inside a shrine. So, in a Shiva shrine, you will find an image of Shiva on the lintel, and if it's a Devi shrine, you will find an image of Devi. So, it's clear that this temple was dedicated to Vishnu or Vasudeva, who incidentally was a favorite deity of many Gupta rulers, right from Chandragupta II, who became popular as the legendary King Vikramaditya. Chandragupta II, who ruled during the 3rd to 4th century of the Common Era, called himself Parama Bhagavata or a devout Vaishnava. Okay, we do know that the main shrine was dedicated to Vishnu now, but what about the other shrines? The other shrines, according to a researcher named Alexander Lubotsky, were probably dedicated to the other Vyuhas of Vishnu and their consorts. So, what are Vyuhas? In Vaishnavism, 4 heroes of the Vrishni clan, that is the clan into which Krishna was born, were deified. The Vrishni heroes, apart from Krishna himself, included Pradyumna, who was Krishna's son, Sankarshana, also known as Balarama, Krishna's brother, and Aniruddha, who was Krishna's grandson. Vaishnavism considered these heroes to be the earthly emanations of Narayana, the supreme god. These four heroes, rising from the supreme godhead Narayana, were referred to collectively as the Chatur or four Vyuhas. This idea of Vyuha later evolved into the idea of avatars or incarnations of Vishnu, which incidentally are 24 in number and not 10 as is commonly believed. Check my video on the Dashavatars of Vishnu for more on this topic. Link has been given in the description box below. While independent shrines for these deities, the Chaturvyuhas, may have been destroyed or have gone missing in the Dashavatara temple, the three walls of the main shrine are adorned with relief panels which, according to Lubotsky, were dedicated to Pradyumna, Sankarshana and Aniruddha. So what exactly do these panels show? On the northern wall of the shrine, one can find a relief panel showing the popular story of Gajendra Moksha. It tells the story of Gajendra, the elephant king, who sought the help of Lord Vishnu to free him from the serpent king who had trapped him in his coils. After appealing to his herd members and failing to get their help, Gajendra raises his trunk and offers a lotus to Vishnu seeking his help. The Lord immediately rushes to save him. He comes flying on his Vahana, the Garuda. Just look at the serene expression on Vishnu's face, the animation we can see in his flight, and the look of complete surrender on the faces of the Naga king and his wife. And Gajendra shows the great pain he is in as he raises the lotus towards the heavens seeking Vishnu's help. The entire depiction is fabulous. To think that this intricately crafted sculpture was made by artisans a millennia and a half ago is very humbling. The Gajendra Moksha story is told in the 8th canto of the Bhagavata Purana, where Gajendra is attacked not by the snake king but by a crocodile. But Bhagavata Purana is believed to have been composed sometime between the 5th to 10th century CE. So it is possible that the panel in the temple that shows snake instead of a crocodile, that version of the story may be older. Moving on the eastern wall, we find the representation of sages Nara and Narayana. Nara and Narayana are considered partial avatars of Vishnu. In the Mahabharata, Krishna is associated with Narayana, the god, and Arjuna with Nara, the man. In this panel, we find Narayana depicted as God, as his image is larger in size and is shown with 4 arms. He is found sitting under a tree. Nara, the human, is smaller in size and has only 2 arms. Nara wears a black deer skin as an upper garment on his shoulder, which sages also used to sit on and meditate. Today, of course, this custom no longer exists, but the sacred thread owned by Brahmins during the Upanayanam ceremony still has a small piece of black deer skin called Krishnajina attached to it. Coming back to the panel, both the sages are seen sitting in a peaceful hermitage full of trees and animals including deer and lion. In the presence of Lord Narayana, the law of the jungle seems to have been broken. See how the lion looks submissive and the deer unafraid to share the space with their predators. Between the two sages, we find a maiden levitating in mid-air. She, according to another research scholar, Professor Madhav Swarup, is Urvashi. According to the story from the Bhagavata Purana, Lord Indra got extremely worried about the severe penances being performed by the sages Nara and Narayana. He sent Rambha, Rati and Kamadeva, the god of love, to distract the sages. But try as they might, Indra's team could not succeed in distracting the sages from their austerities. Amused by Indra's attempts, Narayana in turn created a beautiful maiden from his thigh. She was given the name Urvashi, that comes from the word Uru, which means thigh in Sanskrit. Urvashi was so stunningly beautiful that Indra's team of celestial nymphs were left ashamed and embarrassed. Having created Urvashi, Narayana gifted her to Indra. According to Professor Swarup, this levitating lady with her palms put together is Urvashi as she takes leave of the sages to go join Indra in the heavens. Now we come to the southern wall of the temple. On the panel carved here, we find the relief of Sheshasai, or the reclining Vishnu. This panel depicts the moment of creation of the world when Vishnu wakes up from his yogic slumber. Goddess Lakshmi is seen holding his left foot while Garuda stands behind his right leg. We can identify Garuda by the snake that is wrapped around his neck. The lady next to Garuda may be Bhudevi, Vishnu's consort, according to Professor Swaroop. Pay attention to the exquisitely carved crown of Vishnu called Kirita Mukuta and his beautiful jewelry. Spot Brahma along with Shiva and Uma on the bull, Indra on his elephant, and Skanda on his peacock at the panel on the top. What makes this relief most interesting is the panel below, where we find 6 men and a woman standing. The 2 men on the left are identified as the Asuras Madhu and Kaitaba, whereas the 4 men on the right represent the Ayudhas of Vishnu shown in human form. They are called Ayudha Purushas. Starting from the right, we find Gada Devi, who represents Vishnu's Gada or mace, and then there is Sudarshana, his chakra, Saranga, his bow, and finally Nandaka, his sword, who seems to be at war with the Asuras, Madhu and Kaitaba. According to Lubotsky, the 4 images of Vishnu, that is 3 on the walls and the missing image of Vishnu in the main shrine, make this temple Sarvato Bhadra, or auspicious from all sides. Sarvato Bhadra, incidentally, is a popular design style in temple architecture. But the question remains, why is it called the Dashavatara temple? Where are the different avatars of Vishnu shown? Well, 2 avatars of Vishnu can be found near the lintel image of Vishnu. The one to the right of Vishnu is a depiction of the Vamana avatar, where Vishnu incarnates as a dwarf, and the one on the left is a depiction of his Narasimha avatar, or half lion, half man avatar. It's possible, as Lubotsky observes, that there were shrines dedicated to the Vrishni heroes, including Sankarshana or Balarama, who is also considered an avatar of Vishnu. More importantly, we are told that there were more panels in the temple that depicted the stories from the Ramayana and the stories from Krishna's life. But these panels are now no longer seen in the temple premises. They have either been removed to a godown nearby or have found their way to museums. So we are told. But documentation by Professor Swaroop and other scholars who have seen them confirms their existence at some time in the recent past. Considering all this, the name Dashavatara temple does seem to be appropriate. But it's not just the murtis of Vishnu that we find here. Relief sculptures of several other deities, including those of Ganesha, Skanda Kartikeya, Surya, Vayu, Brahma, Indra, Shiva and Uma, and of course Lakshmi, can also be seen in the panels depicted on the temple walls even today. Although very little remains of this once magnificent structure built in sandstone, even the little we have today is enough for us to imagine the splendor of the original structure. The intricacy and elegance of the carvings, the sculptures that still breathe life, the harmony of the temple design, all these make it a glorious monument for the aesthetics of the Gupta era. A monument that we must not just cherish, but also preserve for posterity. Friends, hope you enjoyed watching this tour of the temple video. If you did, please do like and share, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Till I meet you all once again with yet another interesting video, it's Tara, bye bye, take care.